What are lunar eclipses and how do they occur? Lunar eclipses happen when Earth positions itself between the Sun and the Moon, casting a shadow across the lunar surface. They can only occur during a full moon and are a popular event for skywatchers worldwide as they do not require any specialist equipment to enjoy, unlike solar eclipses. A lunar eclipse is caused by Earth blocking sunlight from reaching the Moon and creating a shadow across the lunar surface. The Sun blocking Earth casts two shadows that fall on the Moon during a lunar eclipse. The umbra is a full, dark shadow, and the penumbra is a partial outer shadow. There are three types of lunar eclipses depending on how the Sun, Earth and Moon are aligned at the time of the event. Number 1. Total lunar eclipse. Earth's shadow is cast across the entire lunar surface. Number 2. Partial lunar eclipse. During a partial lunar eclipse, only part of the Moon enters Earth's shadow, which may look like it is taking a bite out of the lunar surface. Earth's shadow will appear dark on the side of the Moon facing Earth. How much of a bite we see depends on how the Sun, Earth and Moon align, according to NASA. Number 3. Penumbral lunar eclipse. The faint outer part of Earth's shadow is cast across the lunar surface. This type of eclipse is not as dramatic as the other two and can be difficult to see. During a total lunar eclipse, the lunar surface turns a rusty red color, earning the nickname blood moon. The eerie red appearance is caused by sunlight interacting with Earth's atmosphere. When sunlight reaches Earth, our atmosphere scatters and filters different wavelengths. Shorter wavelengths such as blue light are scattered outward, while longer wavelengths like red are bent, or refracted, into Earth's umbra, according to the Natural History Museum. When the Moon passes through Earth's umbra during a total lunar eclipse, the red light reflects off the lunar surface, giving the Moon its blood red appearance. How gold, orange, or red the Moon appears during a total lunar eclipse depends on how much dust, water, and other particles are in Earth's atmosphere according to NASA scientists. Other atmospheric factors such as temperature and humidity also affect the Moon's appearance during a lunar eclipse. How often do lunar eclipses happen and how long do they last? In astronomical terms, a lunar eclipse is a relatively common phenomenon, with about 3 lunar eclipses occurring every year, according to the National History Museum. Approximately 29% of lunar eclipses are total lunar eclipses. According to timeanddate.com, a total eclipse can be seen from any given location, on average, once every 2.5 years. A lunar eclipse usually lasts a few hours according to the National Weather Service, with totality, the duration of total obscuration of the Moon, ranging between 30 minutes to over an hour. Lunar eclipses are more easily observed than solar eclipses, as they can be viewed with the unaided eye by any observer situated where the Moon is above the horizon. Types of lunar eclipse. Earth's shadow can be divided into two distinctive parts, the umbra and penumbra. Earth totally occludes direct solar radiation within the umbra, the central region of the shadow. However, since the Sun's diameter appears about 1/4 of Earth's in the lunar sky, the planet only partially blocks direct sunlight within the penumbra, the outer portion of the shadow. 1. Penumbral lunar eclipse. This occurs when the Moon passes through Earth's penumbra. The penumbra causes a subtle dimming of the lunar surface, which is only visible to the naked eye when about 70% of the Moon's diameter has immersed into Earth's penumbra. 2. A special type of penumbral eclipse is a total penumbral lunar eclipse, during which the Moon lies exclusively within Earth's penumbra. Total penumbral eclipses are rare, and when these occur, the portion of the Moon closest to the umbra may appear slightly darker than the rest of the lunar disk. 2. Partial lunar eclipse. Time-lapse of a partial lunar eclipse. This occurs when only a portion of the Moon enters Earth's umbra, while a total lunar eclipse occurs when the entire Moon enters the planet's umbra. The Moon's average orbital speed is about 1.03 kilometers per second, 2,300 miles per hour, or a little more than its diameter per hour, so totality may last up to nearly 107 minutes. Nevertheless, the total time between the first and the last contacts of the Moon's limb with Earth's shadow is much longer and could last up to 236 minutes. 3. Total lunar eclipse. This occurs when the Moon falls entirely within the Earth's umbra. just prior to complete entry, the brightness of the lunar limb, the curved edge of the moon still being hit by direct sunlight, will cause the rest of the moon to appear comparatively dim. The moment the moon enters a complete eclipse, the entire surface will become more or less uniformly bright. Later, as the moon's opposite limb is struck by sunlight, the overall disk will again become obscured. This is because, as viewed from the Earth, the brightness of a lunar limb is generally greater than that of the rest of the surface due to reflections from the many surface irregularities within the limb. Sunlight striking these irregularities is always reflected back in greater quantities than that striking more central parts, and is why the edges of full moons generally appear brighter than the rest of the lunar surface. This is similar to the effect of velvet fabric over a convex curved surface, which to an observer will appear darkest at the center of the curve. It will be true of any planetary body with little or no atmosphere and an irregular cratered surface, example Mercury, when viewed opposite the Sun. 4. Central lunar eclipse. This is a total lunar eclipse during which the moon passes through the center of Earth's shadow, contacting the anti-solar point. This type of lunar eclipse is relatively rare. The relative distance of the moon from Earth at the time of an eclipse can affect the eclipse's duration. In particular, when the moon is near apogee, the farthest point from Earth in its orbit, its orbital speed is the slowest. The diameter of Earth's umbra does not decrease appreciably within the changes in the moon's orbital distance. Thus, the concurrence of a totally eclipsed moon near apogee will lengthen the duration of totality. 5. Selenelian. A selenelian or selenahelion, also called a horizontal eclipse, occurs where and when both the Sun and an eclipsed moon can be observed at the same time. The event can only be observed just before sunset or just after sunrise, when both bodies will appear just above opposite horizons at nearly opposite points in the sky. A selenelian occurs during every total lunar eclipse. It is an experience of the observer, not a planetary event separate from the lunar eclipse itself. Typically, observers on Earth located on high mountain ridges undergoing false sunrise or false sunset at the same moment of a total lunar eclipse will be able to experience it. Although during selenelian the moon is completely within the Earth's umbra, both it and the Sun can be observed in the sky because atmospheric refraction causes each body to appear higher, i.e., more central, in the sky than its true geometric planetary position. 3 facts you didn't know about lunar eclipses. 1. Syzygy is the term for when the Earth, Sun, and Moon align. In fact, it's the term for when any 3 bodies line up in space. It comes from the Greek word syzgia, which means yoked together, and it's pronounced like syzygy. 2. Totality is the term for when the moon is completely darkened. This can only happen during a total lunar eclipse. 3. You could see a lunar eclipse from the moon. However, if you were standing on the moon, it's the Earth that would be dark because the Sun would be behind it. Thanks for watching.